What's up, everybody? We're on a podcast now. I'm Alex, and this video, once again, want to talk about Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake. I want to talk and I want to elaborate more on what I started a few videos ago, talking about if this game is coming out in a month. I really see two different ways that this thing is going to go, and that's what I want to elaborate on. Now, we do have a continuation of the story of the will it, won't it. At least at the time I'm recording this, they confirmed that they will not be at the Game Awards. That's a few days old by the time you guys see this video. Not that it was what was being said. I think actually a lot of what was being said is it wasn't going to be at the Game Awards, although it made a lot of sense to be, right? The rumored release date, I believe, January 16th. Game Awards obviously looks really good as a, opportunity to show it, considering the game would come out a month and 5 days, after the Game Awards. But as time has gone and we're only a couple days away from the Game Awards now, it might be looking like Black Flag, is going to be the one that's announced there, and Prince of Persia would be announced somewhere else. So that brings us to now, and something I want to elaborate on that I've talked about in the past. I see two ways that this is going to go, okay? A game that's coming out a month away, whether it's going to be shown off at the Game Awards and it's just a flat-out lie or it's not going to be. I think you either do it with confidence or you do it with you're trying to hide the game. You could argue there is no hiding it, and I would understand that. I think that's a very valid argument to what I'm trying to say, but let's explore that a little bit more. One way I could see this going is if the game truly is coming out mid-January, whether or not it's shown at the Game Awards, say it's shown off in the next week or so, maybe just by Ubisoft by themselves, right? You release it a month later. I look at it, again, either it's a confidence thing, you're saying, you know what, we don't need it. We have the Prince of Persia name, we have the Sands of Time name, we're Ubisoft, we can do it. And this is not the biggest game of all time. We don't need a multi-month, a promotion period for it. We're just going to release the thing and let the chips, fall where they fall. And I could respect that, and I will respect that if that's how they're doing it. If they're taking it from a place of confidence and saying, we got this, we're just going to do it. However, there's a pessimistic side to me, and not just a pessimistic side to me in life, but also with Ubisoft. You sometimes take the under with Ubisoft, and it's not to discount everything they've ever done. In fact, the last Prince of Persia game was very, very good. In fact, one of the best Prince of Persia games they've ever made. So maybe you could look at it optimistically, but a pessimistic way of looking at it is, okay, you're going to show it off. You're not showing it off at the Game Awards, right? In fact, one could argue, even if you don't show Assassin's Creed at the Game Awards, all right? Say you don't. You announce Prince of Persia 3 days after the Game Awards, 4 days after, 2 days before, sometime around it. It's very easy, I would say, to argue that that announcement is going to be overshadowed from everything that's at the Game Awards. If you announce it before, it's going to have a day or two or three or four, whatever. Maybe it's Monday, right? You have a couple days. Game Awards happens, and it gets buried. It gets buried with all these other announcements. Another thing to, think through is, okay, if they show Black Flag at the Game Awards, which maybe doesn't happen regardless, but maybe it does. Do you really show Prince of Persia like a week after that? Does that make sense? Because now you're taking away from Black Flag, even though, yes, Prince of Persia does come out first. See, it's a little confusing. It's a little kind of weird. But point being, say, okay, Game Awards happens and you have like 10 different big announcements, right? You show Prince of Persia a couple days later. Does Prince of Persia move the needle at all? Again, this is kind of making the point of, are they hiding it? Are they kind of expecting that nobody's really going to care? It comes out in January. Now, January can have big games. Hitman has come out in January. Kingdom Hearts 3 years ago. It seems like 20 years ago at this point, but Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in January. Big games can come out, but normally February and March is kind of the start of the gaming season for any given year. So maybe, January 16th is quite early. I like it because there's nothing else there. I really like that date because you mark it in your calendar. That's Prince of Persia Day, and you can play Prince of Persia for a week and have nothing that even remotely resembles competition that's around it, at least that I've noticed myself. So I like that date personally as a gamer. But as I don't know, maybe it's the dead of winter. You look at it maybe a little optimistically, then you can look at it pessimistically. Are they trying to just sneak it out there? 1 month turnaround. It's not going to be shown off at the Game Awards, so not all eyes are going to be on it. It's going to get overshadowed by everything that's going to happen next week anyway. It might even get overshadowed by Assassin's Creed, and then it's going to release in mid-January, where I care, but as we've realized through all of my years of video content, I am the very small minority, right? And my viewers and the audience that plays the amount of games that I play are a very small minority, and that's just the truth. So I do wonder which path they're taking. And I get really excited to figure out which path they're taking because I, of course, want it to be, look, if it's the optimistic path, okay, if it's either, we're going to find out. If the game is really, really good, I think it's pretty easy to steer yourself towards, you know, the money maybe isn't there behind the scenes to push this. They didn't really feel like they needed to. You got Black Flag. Maybe they're expecting Black Flag to sell really well, which, Black Flag 1 or the original, that sold incredibly well. So it makes sense, right? So maybe they're looking towards that. Maybe they don't really care. And if the game's really good, I would look at it from the mindset of, oh, okay, like they knew what they were doing. They didn't need a big marketing push. Now, if the game is total garbage, or if the trailer looks like total garbage, I think we have our answer. And that's the scary thing. Like, I don't want to make the determination, the whole determination, off of one trailer. I don't. I mean, you can look back at the trailer of 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think that's the best way of looking at the game because it should be drastically different from that trailer, right? Should be the same game, but should look different. But, I mean, if we see, say, a new trailer in the next week or two and it doesn't look good and the game comes out in mid-January, I'm reverting to the negative side and everything we just talked about. If the trailer looks really bad, it's not necessarily because the trailer is bad. It's because the trailer is bad and then everything I just said. The trailer being really bad or the game just not looking good. It's not like a badly edited trailer. It's like if we see the trailer and the game just doesn't look good, I'm going to assume, okay, they're rushing it. They're just trying to get this thing out and not rushing it as in, it needs a couple more months. No, the thing is severely flawed and they're just trying to get it out there, make a little bit of money and pretend like it never happened. That's what I mean by rushing it or putting it out there. We'll see. I really hope it's the positive one, but I'm very 50-50. And I do think we're going to figure it out based off the trailer. So we'll see. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.